Okay, cool. Let's get started. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the newest edition of One Man Cups. To start off, I'm going to briefly talk about the history of One Man Cups, and after that, we're going to go into the presentation, and then we're going to go with some questions after, and then we're going to close. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, so in the beginning, One Man Cups was created by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation. And the Kaufman Foundation wanted to work with communities in entrepreneurship and education to increase opportunities that allows all people to learn, to take their own risk, and to own their own success. And they did that with One Man Cups. But what is One Man Cups exactly? One Man Cups is a free weekly program that educates, engages, and connects all local entrepreneurs. The mission behind One Man Cups is to not only create a conversation around business, around entrepreneurs, but it's to lower the barrier of access to education, resources, and connection for all these types of entrepreneurs. And that's throughout the United States. At first, it started with a small community in Kansas City. Then it grew to 163 communities over time. And in each community, there's usually, roughly like 2 to 3 presentations a week. But today we're only going to have one presentation, and this gentleman will have 6 minutes to present, along with 15 to 20 minutes of Q&A. And for our audience, if you want to join our community or if you would like to present here on One Man Cups on our platform, please visit our website at www.onemancups.com/Chico to get started. Now, without further ado, Isaiah, if you would mind taking the stage, we would love to hear your presentation.
Okay, greetings everyone. It is with great pleasure to be here, and I'm so excited to share with you guys Pool Rides. So if you don't mind, give me one moment to share my screen, and I will commence my presentation. Hello everyone, my name is Isaiah Cole. I'm the CEO/founder of Pool Rides, and it is with great pleasure to share with you guys my team and I's vision and hard work. Pool Rides is the pioneer of Insta Transit, a disruptive new landscape to digital mobility, absolving the inequity and unprofitability crisis of ride-sharing and food delivery corporations through implementation of Web 3.0 technology and our one-of-a-kind business model. To contextualize the market need of our solution, let's take a look at the misfortune of digital mobility users. 66% of ride-sharing drivers have quit within their first 6 months, and that could be attested to the fact that they're severely underpaid. On average, they receive about a 40 to 60% cut of the earnings of each trip, as well as in many instances, they're restricted to the amount of time they could ride share. As for the passengers, well, their fares have spiked 40% nationwide, and that's to go along with an already costly pricing model made up of excessive fees, as well as price surges, and the experience as a whole is pretty devoid of any user-oriented features, especially within safety, and that's led to thousands of abuse and harassment occurrences over the years. And to illustrate the inequity, let's take a look at the background of this slide. So this is actually a trip summary of a Lyft ride I took about last month, and the distance of this trip was only about 2.3 miles, yet I was charged $9.86, which equates to about $4.20 per mile. And as you can see on the top, my driver only received $3.96. So not only did he receive only 40% of the earnings of the trip, but he also was paid out less than what I was charged per mile. Our solution eliminates absurdities like that and puts the freedom in the hands of the users. We've completely reimagined the concept of membership models, and rather than giving paid members access to premium content, ours are given absolute autonomy. Our platform connects on-demand transit requests in real time with nearby transporters, and our transporters are paid directly through the app for every single mile they're going. Not only do they receive no fees or cut being taken from their earnings, but they're also actually paid out 80% more per mile than our competitors' drivers. They're also given absolute autonomy to work for as long as they want, when they want, and a variety of perks and benefits for being a member to our service, such as exclusive social media features, redemption of rewards for completion of milestones and challenges, as well as access to Pool Party. Pool Party is our member ambassador program that allows for our members to lower their membership for each person they refer to our service, and it also serves as an avenue of potential exponential growth for us. Beyond restoring equity back to the industry, our biggest focus boils down to ensuring that transit is accessible at any time to anyone who needs it at any place. And in doing so, we make our fare simply just 1 per mile distance fee that does not surge and, of course, goes directly to the transporter. The experience is also fully in the control of the traveler or the transit requester, and they're given customization and experience features as well as our profile matcher. Our profile matcher allows for our transporters and the requester to create a custom profile that displays their interests as well as their preferences, and the matchmaking is determined based on the compatibility and proximity of one another. The glamour of the novelty of our platform is illuminated when you directly compare us to our two biggest competitors. Our pricing model for passengers is simply just $175 per mile with no fluctuations. And of course, it goes straight to the transporter and we take nothing from that. Whereas with Uber and Lyft, it's about $1 to $2 per mile, plus a per minute fee, plus a base fare, plus possible local fees, and of course, price surges. As for how drivers are paid out with us, ours retain the entirety of the earnings of each trip, whereas with Uber, theirs receive about 57% and Lyft 68%, but those numbers have been dwindling quite a bit as a result of the climate of the market. But I think the most jarring difference amongst us and our competitors beyond our superior pricing model and the ubiquity of the user experience boils down to the profitability. With us, we're guaranteed MRR from each of our transporters, and our business model works in having no unit economics or implicit acquisition costs. And since there's no wage distribution and the transactions are done directly between our transporters and our transit requesters, we're actually exempt from Proposition 22, and we were given that validation from a local startup employment attorney. Whereas with Uber and Lyft, they've both been losing billions of dollars even before the pandemic due to them running on a very similar business model that's heavy in unit economics and acquisition costs. And as you can see, even before the pandemic, Lyft lost $2.6 billion. It's a commonly known fact that lowering the amount of vehicles on the road as well as the amount of miles that each of them travel is incredibly beneficial for the environment, and it can reduce emissions, greenhouse gases, and congestion. And beyond providing equitable transit, we promote this through Carbon Zero. It's a program that rewards our transporters and travelers who reduce the most amount of carbon, and they're rewarded with trip credits, special recognition, digital badges, and our transporters are given membership discounts for that, as well as for driving with a qualified eco-friendly vehicle. Lastly, we plan to optimize our AI to support pool split, which is basically going to group transits with coinciding destinations to be grouped together, and our transporters will receive two transits in one route, and each of those requesters will receive a discount to their transit fees. It's only going to be $1.25 per mile for those who use pool split. Within the next few years, we plan to evolve with the times and adopt new tech and adapt to new technology as well. And one of our first leaps in doing so is going to be through integrating Web 3.0. And initially, it's going to be through our customized NFT vehicle marketplace and showcase, Carvo. It's going to cultivate the creation of decentralized autonomous organizations, as well as tokenization. And soon we're going to use decentralized finance and crypto as a payment method that our transporters can accept, as well as we plan to fully decentralize our platform and use Ethereum 2.0 as a safe and secure sign-in. And eventually we actually plan to progress and develop our own blockchain network, Poolkey, which will not only serve as a safe and secure login through each of our platforms, but also it will cultivate our own cryptocurrency. Eventually, Instant Transit's going to be more than just carpooling. It'll eventually include pool delivery, our on-demand retail and restaurant delivery platform, and it's going to convert our transporter membership into a bundle in which transporters will be given access to both platforms, and it's going to create another membership for merchants, as now they will be able to have each of their orders fulfilled by our network of transporters, and it'll be all commission free. And lastly, we plan to create a membership for our travelers, known as Pool Pass, and that's going to allow for them to have priority pickup, as well as even more experience, features, and personalization, and reimbursement for all of their miles. Beyond closing around, all we really seek is just help with spreading the word and gaining some exposure. And we are indeed open to corporate partnerships. And for those who are interested in supporting our mission or even being a part of the movement whenever we launch, please sign up for our waitlist at www.poolrides.com/sign up. Thank you. Hop in.
All right, let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you.
Good. I feel like I like that one.
Fantastic.
I feel like you did a lot of research on that one. Just for a brief second, can you let the audience know, like, what's your background? How did you come up with the idea of Pool Rides, and like, who you are, and like, all that stuff?
Well, first things first is I am a Virginia native. I have lived in Virginia for practically the entirety of my life. And throughout that period, I constantly relied on ride sharing as my main source of transportation. I was constantly using Lyft and Uber to get to and from places. And as a tenured passenger with each of those platforms, I grew a bit weary of not only the price surges and just the unpredictability of the economics, but the other aspect of it is just the experience would oftentimes be monotonous and even sometimes pretty uncomfortable. So just understanding that, as well as having a lot of conversations with the drivers I had and them expressing to me their plight and just how poor the conditions were, ultimately allowed me to just turn my pain into a purpose and create a solution that absolves the inequity for the transporters and the travelers. And ultimately, it also allowed me to create a new business model that allows for unheard of profitability.
Nice.
I had a quick question. Bringing to what? Oh, go ahead, Heather. Did you have a question?
Oh, it's okay. I was just wondering. I love that the membership pass thing. That's kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious to see where you guys are going to go with that. But I noticed that number one, who's your competitor on this line? I was looking at in the App Store, just seeing, and I don't see you guys. Are you going to have an app for this? Because I don't see it listed yet. And when are you going to release all of this? I think your website said spring of 22, maybe, but.
Yes, that actually kind of answers your question, but we are soon to fully develop our app and launch at full scale, initially in Sacramento, and then we'll plan to expand our service to be accessible in practically all regions of Northern California. We are looking towards spring 22, and we're currently in the MVP early stage development of our app. And if you guys saw on the last slide, those are actually a couple screenshots from our app. And if you follow our social media pages or just check out our website regularly, we tend to post screenshots and previews of our soon to launch app.
Great.
Thank you. I didn't let everybody know this, but we're now a part of our Q&A session right now. So if any of you guys have a question, you can obviously talk and speak freely. But before anybody else does ask a question, I just want to input this question. What is your marketing plan? Because I do marketing as well as Logan, and I'm really curious to how you're going to spread the word out, given that so many users, so many people in Sacramento use Uber, Lyft, like everybody knows about Uber and Lyft. How do you, go about spreading the word and kind of convert them from Uber to like a pool ride user?
Yeah, for the travelers and the people driving.
Right.
For both aspects.
That's a great question. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a really great question. I'm glad you asked. Well, the thing about Lyft and Uber passengers that I kind of briefly alluded to at the beginning of this is that a lot of them are already discontent. So they're pretty vulnerable in the sense that they're already looking for another solution. So what we've been very successful at doing is just attacking their pain points and just showing them that the things that they're the most concerned about with Uber and Lyft, we're absolving that. Plus, we're adding a lot more beyond that. But in terms of just our further marketing plan as well, we actually have, we're going to, when we launch, one of our best strategies for customer acquisition and honestly, at the same time, eliminating drinking and driving is going to be called night swimming. It's going to run from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. and it's going to lower each of our fares to $1 per mile. And that's actually already been just our campaign for advertising. That has been one of the best channels in acquiring a lot of customers within the past. We just recently brought that out to the public about a week and a half ago. Actually, yes, yeah, a week and a half ago. And that's already increased our, we already have more website viewers in the week and a half than we did in our entire December, as well as other marketing strategies are going to be continuation of elaborate branding. I'm big on neuromarketing, and I just love when you can attach words or something that people already like to a company. And in our case, since we're called Pool Rides, there's a lot of ubiquity and wordplay opportunity, and that's something we capitalize on quite a bit. Beyond that, in terms of other marketing strategies, just the aspect of us being like a social marketplace type of app that kind of allows for our users to be kind of walking billboards for us. And of course, the profile matching aspect of it is huge in attracting a lot of people, and it kind of broadens our market quite a bit because there's people who otherwise wouldn't use ride sharing or just instant transit as a whole would be more willing to, just because of the opportunity to connect with someone in a way that you've never been able to before.
So to expand on that, so for the social matching, when someone requests a driver, they're matched with a driver that has the similar interests that they do?
Yes, similar interests as well as preferences, and each user is, they have the choice of accepting or declining each person they match with. And,
Okay.
you know, each of our requesters are also given a map. Like when they first open the app, you're given a map of all of the transporters in your area, and you're able to see their profiles, and you're able to just connect with them directly through there as well. And when you're even booking a ride, if you're not really too concerned with just matching with someone who has similar interests and preferences to you, then you're able to just choose exactly who you want to match with when we give you multiple queries of people near you that want to accept your trip. And it runs vice versa. With our transporters, they're given a map of everyone who has accepted, or excuse me, who's requested a ride and has yet to be picked up quite yet.
I have a question. Isaiah, how are you addressing safety?
Yeah, I'm very glad you asked that as well, too. Safety is definitely one of our biggest emphasis as well. And we do so with in-app technology. So one of the first things we do is Lifeguard. Lifeguard is our in-app respondent that allows for each of our travelers as well as transporters to have a button on the app in the midst of their transit. When they click the Lifeguard button, it'll allow for them to not only directly monitor the navigation of the driver, but their app is locked on that page, as well as they're given immediate 911 access, and all of the information of the trip is stored through our system. And eventually, as we integrate the blockchain, all of that information will be encrypted in the blockchain. Beyond that, we also are going to have Marco Polo, which serves as a code verifier for each of our carpooling transit. So basically, when a traveler requests a ride and they're matched with someone, they're given a 4-digit code, and that 4-digit code must be given to the driver for the driver to be able to begin the ride. The ride cannot begin until the driver types in that 4-digit code. So not only does it prevent instances where drivers are falsely completing rides, but it also allows for definite and absolute authentication of the transporter and the traveler. And lastly, we actually are absolving the safety crisis within ride sharing by being a little bit, not even a little bit, a lot more thorough with the drivers we accept. We plan to only accept drivers who have a clean history of no abuse, harassment, or anything that could alter the experience they have with any traveler.
Because Uber and Lyft, they're not using any of that digit. I mean, basically, look, you're like, does the license plate match? You know?
Yep.
So they're currently not using a code system, at least.
No, they're not.
Okay. Cool.
I have some questions.
Okay.
'Cause I have a question as well.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, thank you. Hello, nice presentation. I came in
Thank you.
midway, unfortunately, but thank you very much. It was very interesting. I'm interested in the merchant side of things, how you plan to launch that for merchants. And then you mentioned a little bit about pricing. If you could explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so when we launch our delivery platform, Pool Delivery, it's going to allow for us to create a new membership for our merchants. So one of the biggest issues with food delivery, and this was glorified, especially amongst the pandemic, is that each of the delivery platforms take a significant percentage of each of the orders facilitated or just fulfilled on those platforms. And especially during the pandemic, when like 70 to 80% of each of their orders were done through those platforms, it allowed for them to lose quite a bit in profit. So with us, our platform is going to allow for them to have no commission taken from any of their orders, and they'd be paying us just simply $100 per month.
Oh, so it's basically a subscription, a set subscription fee.
Correct. It'd be $100 a month, and they would be receiving no commission taken from their orders, and of course, fulfillment of their orders from our fleet of transporters.
I see. And as far as Uber and Lyft go, my experience with them have been mixed at best. You probably covered this earlier in your presentation, but as far as the economics go, you mentioned that your platform is planning to be far more profitable. What's the unique value proposition that makes that happen?
I mean, I think the thing I like about our value proposition is that it's made up of various novelty in the sense that first things first, our business model is pioneered by us, and it's a one-of-a-kind model that creates a balance, the greatest balance of not only affordability for the passengers, but also allows for the transporters / drivers to retain the entirety of their fee of their earnings. And it's going to allow for us to retain $75 a month from each of those transporters. And beyond that, in terms of value proposition, we also just provide unheard of dynamic user experience that allows for each of our transporters and travelers to control how their experience goes through various customization and experience features, and of course our profile matcher.
So basically, again, it's a set subscription fee for the where the let's see, the drivers now that they're going to receive and 100%, you said, of the trip, but then they're going to pay to
Correct.
be on the platform $75 per month.
Correct.
Okay, that's interesting.
And then, go ahead.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have to think about that a little bit. So if you have a driver that's working, 60 hours a week, earning, a lot of on their fares, and then you're going to have other drivers that are driving maybe 10 hours a week and not making as much on their fares. Still the same $75 per driver.
Yes, because you control how much you make. You're in absolute control of how much you make. So theoretically, you can literally make that $75 a month in practically 2 hours of driving. So you literally would break even in just a minimal amount of time. Hence why we justify having an equal fare, just because you're in each of those members fully dictate how much they want to make. And in some instances, there's going to be months where they're going to want to put in less time. And just the fact that it's a gig economy type of job. It's not an employment. We're not an employer. So it's not something where you're going to fully devote all of your time. Everyone's going to fully devote their time to, excuse me.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting, because I've seen in my experience with drivers, I ask them questions all the time about how it's working for them. And some of them say it's not working. They drive so much and they make so little.
Exactly.
And yeah, it seems that like there's a little bit of taking advantage going on from the platform
Indeed.
provider.
Correct. And
Well, cool
I mean,
idea.
last thing
I
I'll
can't
add,
wait.
my apologies, please.
We had a question from the audience real quick here, if we could pop that in.
Hi, my name is Eva Shepherd-Nickel, and I'm the chapter lead for 1 Million Cups here. Sorry, I came in a little late, so if any of these questions are redundant, my apologies. How many employees do you have right now?
Our platform is currently not live, so we actually don't have any employees, nor do we consider our transporters as employees, because we don't distribute their wages.
Well, I mean, like you and your developers, and that's what I meant, sorry. The creation of the company and how many people are working with you to create this, sorry.
Okay, my apologies. You just mean like okay, my team as a whole, excuse me. Well, my team is actually led by, it's just myself and 3 other founders. We have a chief revenue officer, a chief strategy officer, and a chief financial officer.
Okay, awesome. And again, if this is redundant, I'm sorry. How much investment, whether personal or friends and family or winning a competition or anything like that, how much investment has put in to date?
I actually did our expenses chart a couple of days ago, and it calculated the exact amount we've all spent, and I believe it's $2,500. And then in regards to if we've received an investment, no, we have not received an investment. We've actually, for the past 4 to 5 months, we've completely focused simply just on refining and polishing our platform and our service to be as best as possible.
Right. Some advice for when you're moving forward is just to make sure to calculate all the time that you're not paying yourselves into how much has actually been invested to, because that's probably 10x at this point, right, of the actual expenses. Last question, so I don't hog all this. Where are you physically, and again, you probably said this, where are you physically located in Virginia?
Well, I'm not actually in Virginia anymore. I live here in Sacramento, but previously, when I did live in, yes, but when I did live in Virginia, I lived in Richmond.
Oh, okay.
The capital.
Because one of my dear friends runs a thing called the Network Incubator in Richmond, Virginia, but now that everything is virtual, I should probably hook you guys up. Her name's Ayanna McMullen, and she's boss. She's awesome. So I'll circle back with James afterwards to get your contact info, and I'll make sure to introduce you to.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good presentation, by the way.
Thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
So Isaiah, are you doing all your marketing? Who's doing your marketing right now on your social media and all of that?
I'm pretty much the head of our marketing, but our chief revenue officer definitely provides a lot of input, as well as even does he's in control of one of our Twitter account. But in terms of just holistically, I'm pretty much the director of our marketing.
Question from the audience.
We've got a question from the audience here.
Go.
Can you hear me from here? Can you hear me? Is that the mic over there?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'll come over.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, perfect. So how are you going to balance hiring or getting the amount of drivers versus like how many customers you're getting, like moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, one of the first things is we definitely want to have the best, we want to have an equilibrium of transporters and travelers. So we have, we already have calculated the amount we want for each of those user bases, but to acquire as many as, to acquire that user basis for each, first things first is we're going to launch our platform as a freemium. So for the first month to about 2 months, our platform is going to be completely free for transporters to take advantage of. And just considering already 66% of Uber drivers are quitting within their first 6 months, and just the fact that there's already quite a bit of transporters and drivers who are already discontent with their current positions and are already looking to expand their horizon and just opportunities as a whole, that's going to be pretty instrumental in us acquiring quite a bit of transporters initially. And then just for travelers and transit requesters, I mean, the behavior of practically all of them is dictated by economics, hence why a lot of them, if not, I'm not going to generalize all of them, but definitely quite a bit of them have both Uber and Lyft platforms, because they alternate on both of them to see which one's more affordable at a given time, considering the dynamic pricing. So just the fact that with us, they're not only going to be, there's already transparent pricing, but it's significantly more affordable than those other two platforms. It's going to be quite, that's definitely going to be quite integral to us being able to acquire quite a bit of travelers initially, and then also to just the experience aspect of it. Like I alluded to earlier, just the fact that we have a profile matching / social aspect of our platform, it's going to broaden our user bases quite a bit. It's going to attract people who otherwise wouldn't have used instant transit or ride sharing.
Cool. So does that look like saying, okay, we have 10 drivers in this specific area, and they're just gonna do like geolocation, like marketing while people are like downtown, and so that as they're going through the social media, they will be able to see that and know that it's like right in their area at that moment, and then kind of go
Yes. Especially considering that's kind of one of the biggest reasons why I love Sacramento so much as the city that we're going to pilot in, just because there's so many opportunities for just geolocation targeting, and considering that there's practically events every night, it's going to be incredibly easy for us to definitely dictate that quite a bit.
That's cool. I wonder if you could hook up in the like the wedding industry at your launch to offer some like large weddings access to your guys' platform or something. And yeah, that's cool, man. This is awesome. Congratulations on the idea and making it happen.
I really appreciate it, and I absolutely love the idea of weddings. I mean, that's honestly something that I honestly haven't really considered too much. And what's next month? Oh, Valentine's Day. So that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, well, let's give him one more round of applause.
Thank you.
We're gonna wrap it up here. Isaiah, thank you so much for coming to 1 Minute Cup Chico, visiting our chapter. We really appreciate that. I'm gonna close it off with a presentation real quick.
If you could just stop sharing your.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
Oh, I just wanted to check to see if Isaiah, are you connected with Laura Good in Sacramento?
I am indeed, but yes, she's great. Thank you so much for bringing her up.
Okay, great. Good
Actually,
deal.
just
Yeah, she,
formed the 1 million cups in Sacramento not too long ago.
okay, good deal.
Yes,
She'll
yes, indeed.
hook you up with a lot of things to support in SAC. So good luck to you.
Slide over thing. Okay.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
One of the most resourceful people I know, indeed.
Okay, good. To the next one. Okay. So in closing, I would like to thank Eva Shepard, our chapter lead, and Logan Sullivan, who's our production guy, for help hosting this presentation today. I also like to thank our community sponsors, Morgan Stanley, Chico Start, GrowTech, Global Entrepreneurship Network, T-Bar, Build.com, Startup Grind, Explore Butte County, and last but not least, Snowball Coffee. For our audience, thank you for showing up, and every Wednesday, catch us here at 9 a.m. on Zoom. Next week, that is to be announced who will go, so stay tuned. But in order to keep up with that, if anybody wants more business resources or just needs any more information about any workshops that we have going on, please sign up for our newsletter at Chico Start. There's a QR code so you can scan it with your phone if you have the time to. And with that being said, thank you. Thank you.